Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Hey, what's going on, family? This is Todd from No Picks Podcast.
What's up, fam? Joe, No Picks Podcast.
All right, so Joe, check this out. This clip came across my feed today on TikTok, right? I'm
Okay.
gonna pull it up. I don't even want to introduce him. Just pull it up, and you and I gonna react to it.
All right.
A black female police officer has been suspended for not wanting to hire other minority female officers.
The now suspended police chief at the Atlanta VA Medical Center once said in a staff meeting that she no longer wanted to hire black or Hispanic female officers because they, quote, come with a whole lot of attitude.
I am to the point, I don't want to hire black women no more. I'm to that point. I don't have no Hispanic women. Hell, I don't want them either. Because you know what comes with it? A whole lot of attitude, and I don't want it.
An Atlanta black female police chief has been suspended for being caught on a recording, admitting to not wanting to hire other minority female officers. These statements from the Atlanta police chief has garnered controversy from commenters online. Commenters claimed that she's not wrong, and that she's telling the truth, and that telling the actual truth is what gets you canceled. But what do you think about this? Should she be fired for her statements? Comment your opinion down below.
So I saw this, and I'm like, bro, this is something we definitely got to address and talk about. I don't know. I mean, listen, I have no idea what your thoughts are on this. What you think?
All right. So this is actually an interesting clip, right? So off rip. So my stance is unequivocal. Should she be canceled or fired for that statement? Yes. You said the stuff that we say in your head out loud, and you hold a high position in government, and you or in the police like she's what the head of the what was her role? Is she the
Police
mayor
chief.
or like
She was like police
chief?
Like that.
You are when you are in a position that high and you're in the public eye, you cannot make comments like
Right.
that. So I'm off rip. I'm gonna say yes. You got canceled because you spoke the truth. Even if I agree with your sentiment, you cannot say that because legally that is already discrimination. You see what I'm saying? Once you say that, you said out your mouth, I'm not going to hire minorities. I'm going to discriminate because I feel that they have too much attitude. That's already discrimination. You know what I'm saying? So I think that she put herself in a tough spot by speaking these things out loud. However, I do agree that there is some truth in her statement. So that's my initial statement. How do you?
I mean, I agree with you. I even agree with you on the why her getting canceled and her getting fired and all that. Like, I feel like you have to do that in a civilized society, right? Like, it can't be like blatant bias. Like, yo, we don't want these group of people because of this negative character trait, right? So, but I guess I'm wondering. So you said her issue, your issue with her was that she said the quiet part out loud. So what if?
That was my issue with her because if you switch the let's say if it was a white man saying I'm not going to hire minorities, then we could, you know what I mean? Even then it would look worse because then there's like, well, it's still kind of weird. It's like bigoted, or I want to say it's still racist, even if it was a black woman who said it.
Yeah.
But you know how I feel about this racist term in black. Yeah. But if it was a white man saying it, he'd totally be canceled. So keep that same energy. He would be fired. He would have to resign. Keep the same energy. You know what I mean? That.
So if she didn't say it, and just her practices showed, hey, I'm hiring, because she said what females, right? She wasn't like, she said black and Hispanic female officers. She's hiring black and Hispanic male officers because I guess it's less attitude, right? So if the whole police force just was black man, white man, Hispanic man, white woman, no black or Hispanic cops, like, so would you have preferred that over her saying it? You feel what I'm saying? Like, if she just did not said it, but just her practices and her hiring practices showed, like, hey, we have 0 black female officers, we have 0 Hispanic female officers, and that's I want it that way because these bitches are a little too problematic. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, I mean, like I said, like she shouldn't have said the comment at all.
Yeah,
you know, like even if it was specific to like females or women, it's still discriminatory. If she would have opened it in some way, somebody's getting discriminated against, and she said this publicly. And if her police force reflected this kind of bias, then of course somebody would have been like, hey, we need more diversity, or we need more, or you could just have black and Latino male. But if
Right.
she was like, you could have hired more black and Latino males and be like, here they go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She just shouldn't have said it publicly, bro. And listen, this is not the first time whether we've heard about this attitude problem with black women and Latinas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have a bashing session about
Yeah.
that, but this is also not the first time we've heard this, bro. We've heard, what happened that day when was it Scotland? Not Scotland. It was that country where all the women were protesting and they all just went to protest and took off work.
Yeah.
And then what happened? HR said we had less complaints.
Yeah.
HR people were more
Yeah.
productive. So when you took the shorties out of the workplace,
Yeah.
the economy didn't
Yeah.
collapse. Things went forward. In fact, it was much pleasurable
But
environment.
that
You know what I'm
wasn't
saying?
a race thing though. That was more like a woman thing.
No, not a
Yeah.
race thing, but I'm saying is like when you take women out,
Yeah.
it was a much more pleasant
Yeah.
environment at work. There were less complaints. So like, there's something in that, women just bring a certain type of energy, not all,
Yeah.
generally speaking, that can make environment unpleasant or unsafe because of the Me Too movement.
Right.
Managers don't like working closely with females, or they don't want to hire women. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like men aren't talking to women
But
now at
her
the
issue
workplace.
her issue is black and Hispanic women. She's cool at hiring white women.
That's wild, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's wild, bro. Like she got to get canceled, bro.
So all right. So let me ask you some real down and dirty, a nasty question. All right. First of all, let me ask: have you ever dealt with a white woman before?
In what way?
Dated, casually hooked up with, had a girlfriend, like you know what I mean, like anything like that.
And I mean, yes, I've dealt with the
Okay,
white.
so let me ask
yes.
you, as a guy who has, because I have to, right? As a guy who has experience with white women, do you think that in general they are easier to get along with than are black and Hispanic women? Do you think do you think in general that's the case? Do they have less attitude?
I mean, I personally don't have enough experience to say if there's that big of a difference. But I know if I'm talking about the white chicks that be around like K&A, hell, that ain't no different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they all like if she's like a hood bugger, like a straight up like ratchet, like gutter type white chick, they got the same sassy ass attitude, bro. It all depends on where she was raised and who she hangs out with, honestly. But what I'm saying is I don't have enough experience to compare. But I do know that in my experience with black women and Latinas, especially black women, because I've mostly dated and married black women, they got an attitude problem and they don't see it. I think that they lack the self-awareness to see it. They always like, why do people always say we're angry? Because that's how you come off. If people are telling you that they experience anger when they interact with you, you can't just get mad at them because that's the way that they're interpreting your body language and your tone. Like you sound angry.
And
you got to fix
and
that.
I would dispute what you just said. You said they don't know. I think they know and they take a lot of pride in that shit. You know how many times I've had conversations with black women, they're like, oh, well, when they see black dudes date out or they see stuff about, people not wanting to date black women, they like, well, they say like, oh, you don't want to date a black woman because you don't want a strong, you don't want a strong woman. No. You don't want a dominant. Not they don't say dominant. They don't say the word, but they say a strong, independent woman to like you want a yes person. You want to date Becky. You want to date the white chicks because you want to just a yes person that's going to do whatever you say, whatever, blah blah blah. So they take a lot of pride in having this attitude. It's not a bad. They don't not notice it. Yeah. They like it. They think it's like a part of their like individualism. They think it's a part of like you ain't gonna say whatever you want to me, and I'm going to buck back. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. They're very proud of that.
Well, that's true. That is the stereotype. Even in comedy, we always talked about like black moms or black women and sisters with the attitude and the neck twitching and the fingers and like the way that they talk. So like, it is a stereotype. But I can tell you just from being in Philly and from the black women that I have dated and including the ones that I'm married, that ex relationships, yes, they do have an attitude problem, bro. Even at the workplace, like it's difficult to work around them. Even black women have said, I hate that. We have stories and we can pull up clips, not now, but like of black women being like, I just hate having a black manager because I just feel like they're so mean. They're so egotistical. They can be narcs. They can be bullies. Like we've heard this saying like, I don't want my manager to be a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Like we've heard, and we've also heard how, yeah. So this, I don't want to, yeah, bro.
It's just a fact, bro. It's
Shorty's like They do wear it as a badge. You're right. They do wear it as a badge.
They don't think it's an issue at all. Like, in fact,
if
you don't want to deal with it, if you don't want to wake up every day and put on your combat boots and your boxing gloves every day, you're the pussy. You're the problem. It's not, she's not the problem because
Right.
she wants to give smoke. You're a pussy because you don't want the smoke.
Right. And remember, we're only supposed to take it because when we dish it back,
Oh, you going to jail? You going to jail?
it's a
1000%.
whole problem. It's a whole problem. But to bring it back to the police chief, like, yeah, she definitely should not have said that. Especially think about it. In the time that we're living in a time of cancel culture, snowflakes, all these snowflake liberals that will cancel you for
Right.
anything. You know what I'm saying? Right now they're trying to cancel. We talked about Eminem. They're trying to cancel Eminem for a bar he spit about a trans cat who thinks he's a Siamese. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's just a horrible climate to say things like that. If she had said it in private, that's different. But she said it publicly, and yeah, you're the chief of police, shorty. You can't say something like that. You can't. What do you think? What if the president of the United States said, "I don't want to hire black and Latino women in my cabinet. I don't want black and Latino women at the White House because they have too much attitude." You honestly think he'd still be the president? Maybe, but good lord, do you know how his poll numbers would just tank? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she messed up saying it out loud, bro. If that's how she felt, she could have did something. She could have, she could have took that to the grave. But and the fact, and it's not a race, and it's not a, it is a race thing because she specifically named black and Latina. But like, you can't. I don't think that this black woman is
No,
racist.
I don't think she is.
I think she and her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to make that clear. I don't think this
I don't
woman
think she
is
hate herself.
racist,
She
or I
don't
don't think
hate
it
her
comes from a
mom.
place of
She don't
bigotry.
hate her dad. Like
She don't hate her mom, right? I think she just she just worked with a lot of black and Latino women, and she think that they all have bad attitudes, and that has shaped her opinion and her perception of them.
Yeah. So
this
about
was
maybe
interesting.
2 months ago, I went to my barber. I never go to my barber, right? And I haven't seen him in a long time. And when I went there, I had to go super early in the morning or whatever. He's whatever, but he was cutting my hair. So while we talking, we always talk when we cut my hair. And he said, I asked him, I'm like, bro, like, cause he goes hard for like, podcasts and shit like that. So I'm talking to him, I'm like, bro, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think white women are easier to deal with than black women and Hispanic women? He just like, yes, absolutely. And he was just like, so it wasn't even like a thought in his head. He was like, yeah, and his wife is black. He's just like, listen, like, he's like, listen, I married a black woman. But like it's harder to deal with black women than it is to deal with white women. It's harder to deal with black women, Hispanic women, not the Hispanic ones like straight from Colombia or something like that. Like they're not the traditional places and all that place. Like he's like, yo, the ones from here, they just difficult to deal with, bro. He's like, and it's not as hard to deal with like white women. So when you say white women, you don't like when you don't mean a ratchet one. You don't mean the ones that's like trying to assimilate into white culture. We mean the ones that go to Maroon 5 concerts and listen to fucking Taylor Swift and shit like
Taylor Swifties.
So we talking about the ones that I mean the ones from like Holmesdale, PA and shit like that. Like not like the ones from like North Philly that's like got money over bitches tatted on the neck. Like no, we're not talking about them.
You know what I'm talking about them. Not that type, the one to wear the hoop earrings and
so yeah, he was just like, bro, like yeah, they definitely easy to do it. And as like I had a lot of experience dealing with white chicks throughout my whole life, college and that, bro, like they are easier to do. I was married to a black woman too, but they're just easier to deal with, bro. Like they're just they don't like they will give you smoke if it requires that, right? But they not out here looking for smoke.
Right.
They not out here just looking like, wait, what? Right. What? You stopped 2 seconds earlier than that than you were supposed to stop before this red light. Oh, what you trying to do, nigga? It's like, bro, like it's just and I'm not saying it to bash because like I said, I was married to one. You mean, but bro, it's just harder to deal with. But growing up, I was kind of groomed to deal with the attitude because I heard my aunts and my grandma and shit all my life, like, yo, if you don't want to deal, not me, but they say the phrase, oh, you don't want to deal with a strong black woman, you just a coward, you just this, you just that. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be a coward. You know what I mean? Like I don't want. But now, the older I get, I'm like, why would I want to fight every day? Why would I want Mortal Kombat every day? Just to say I did it. Like that don't make like why would I want to add more stress in my life, die earlier, just to say I'm strong enough to deal with a strong black woman or strong enough to deal with a strong Hispanic woman? Why introduce all that stress in your life if you don't have to?
Right. I 100% agree. And it's like I said, some of them just lack the self-awareness to realize, listen, the type of man that you want, he don't want what you got to offer. He'll dig in them guts, he'll clap them cheeks, but like as far as like marrying you and taking you seriously, he's not going to do that because he wants peace. when you see the woman that the man eventually settles down with, he's nothing like that you would imagine. She's probably cute, but not like a 7, an 8, or a 9. She might be like a 6 or a 5, but like she's humble, she's quiet. She might have a very limited
Right.
social media presence. You know what I mean? Like she's very low key. Like that's the type of shorty that dudes with money and resources are like, oh no, that's wifey. That's wifey right there. You know, it's very different from the type of woman that we're talking about now, and they can be very difficult and to be within relationships, and it's unfortunate. And yeah, as we can see, it also affects jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
There, people also say, we don't enjoy being, that's why I feel like a lot of these call centers, if you want to have a call center, who you hire?
Mhm.
Hire black women. I'd say hire a bunch of sassy Latinas and black women, because listen, they make some good gatekeepers.
Mhm.
They be nice. They got that attitude that you need sometimes to deal with certain customers and certain people, and they be on the phones like,
From
yeah,
like
I don't know, bro, but
16 to like 28,
anyway,
I was all for the attitude. I
yeah,
was all for the smoke every single day. Nigga, I'm 36 right now. The older I get, the more I'm like, man, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit, yo. Like, I just want to chill and not have to fight over everything. I don't want, like,
I know,
it's, and bro, and
but our
yeah,
men have
yeah,
become
like
conditioned to it,
you're
though.
you're told by you're
We become
told by women,
conditioned.
like, because I was too. You're told by women that if you don't want to deal with it, then you're a coward for wanting like the easy way out, like dealing with the white chick that's easier to deal with.
Right,
They're like,
right,
oh, you corny, like bro, like
right.
why do I have to be so manly that I gotta fight with you every fucking day? Like, explain that to me.
Right. Have you seen young black couples flirting? Like, I mean, I spend a
Right.
lot. I'm in Philly a lot, so like I'm driving around, or if I'm at the park, or if I go to a poppy store. I don't know if you've seen many of the young couples flirting, but the way that they flirt and the way that they show, I guess, affection or play around, it's so awkward for me because it's so violent and aggressive. And I'm just like, this is what you guys are conditioned to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
out of here. I'll
yeah,
fight the
yeah,
shit out you. I'll beat you.
yeah,
Like, it's so violent. And the
yeah,
women match the energy.
yeah,
And it goes back and forth. And I'm just like,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is how y'all joke around, but like, this is probably how you guys really are in this relationship. It's probably an emotional roller coaster, lots of aggression, constant tension. And,
yeah,
and the black women match the energy. That's what I'm saying. They have that same strong masculine energy, and they give it back. And some
yeah,
dudes have been
yeah,
conditioned, and they love it. They kind of want this. You know what I mean? But not anybody
yeah.
serious. Pookie
You,
and Ray Ray love that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Pookie and
they
Ray
ain't got
Ray, they
shit going on
love
anyway.
it.
They don't
But
got no W-2s. They chilling.
yeah,
They don't they don't
they
need no
don't care.
criminal. They don't
They
matter if they get a
chilling.
criminal
Yeah.
record or not. They knock your head off. You put his money on some books for him to get some Cheetos and some
Right.
you know what I mean. And he's cool. He didn't lose
Right.
out anyway. He come out. He watched all the episodes of Maury and all of that. Y'all miss, you tape him for him,
Right.
and then y'all happy. Y'all laying back together in the crib, in the Section 8 crib. But like some professional person ain't trying to deal with that shit, bro. Like I said, the older I get, the more I'm like,
Right.
bro, I'm not arguing, bro. Like I'm not. 16 to 28 was my years of being with, being with, like, oh, I'm strong. And I didn't exclude white women, right? But I was just for everybody. I was like, yo, look, I'm not excluding anybody, right? But now I'm like, bro, like, listen,
Right.
I still don't got no issue with black women. I'll get with a black woman, no problem. However, I acknowledge that, yo, you are more difficult to
Right.
deal with. Like, you're like on a balance of probabilities, you're going
Yeah.
to be harder to deal with than Amber.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. And just I'll give my final thought on this too. Like, remember when there was this whole thing going viral where like black women were upset that there were white women at the draft parties where they were looking at the black NFL players,
Yeah.
like the college players, waiting to see if they get picked, right? And the one dude came on social media. He was like, "Yo, if you talk to these black athletes, they'll tell you like my white girlfriend would bring me like my favorite meal from Chick-fil-A during practices. They'll spend
Yeah.
money on me, like not a ridiculous amount, of course, but like they if they can, they will spend money on them and give them things. And they see the potential, and they want to build that man up. Like they're not just waiting to meet that black man at the finish line. They're there when he has nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? And they know how to like pamper him and be feminine and build him up. And so he's like, it's so, but as opposed to black women, she was saying once the dude get drafted, they're DMing. I'm talking about, how much can you cash app, or can you buy me a Birkin, or like
Right.
they're quick to be like, what
Right.
can I get out of you? Once they know he's, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's a completely different energy. So there's something to it, bro. There's always some truth into it,
Yeah.
So yeah,
I guess the bad thing is she just said the
interesting.
quiet part out loud, like you said. So, I mean, and
That's what I
this
feel like I said.
conversation
She
makes
said
it
the
sound
quiet part out
anti-black
loud
though.
because
It's like, you feel what I'm saying? Like
it's It's not. It's Chris. Remember, so we talked about the skit before, but this is how I feel about it. Chris Rock said, "I love black
Right.
people. I hate niggas." You know what I mean? He has a whole skit about this where he's like, I love black people. I can't stand, you know what I mean? So he's like, there's a difference between the black folk who know how to conduct themselves, now how to act properly, can go to a function and not fight or cause trouble or drama, can handle their liquor. Like and then there's the people who just are a hot ass mess. And you just know, like, I don't want anything to do with these folks. So it's just a difference in the type of person. I think that we're just saying, like, there are some, not all black women. Listen, my beautiful black wife is nothing like these women these stereotypical women that we talk about. You see what I'm saying? So, like, for me, like, I'm so far removed from that now. My ex-wife, that's a different story. She was just like textbook modern black woman, like attitude, sass, all that, bruh. And I don't want to bash her, but I'm just saying textbook. But my wife now, almost polar opposites. So you just gotta find a good one, bro. They like unicorns out here, but they
like
out here.
rare Pokemon and shit. Like
yeah. Yeah, it's a rare
the
Pokemon,
holographic
a shiny
Charizard.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, listen, family. Let us know what y'all
Bro.
think. Like, comment, subscribe. Joe here for the smoke. Like I said, I'm too sensitive. Until next time. Bro, let me go.
Until next time.